What's going on, everybody? This is your host, Demetrius, with the PPP, Panthers Prime Podcast. Hey, Bryce Young, Dave Canellis, a match made in heaven? I hope so. Because if it's not, somebody might be gone, and somebody may be in the hot seat. Hey, you know what time it is. Let's go! All right, so the Carolina Panthers hired Dave Canellis, and in Dave Canellis' press conference, he said that he can definitely help Bryce out. And we saw all last year how bad it was, albeit the offensive scheme that Frank Wright brought to the Carolina Panthers wasn't ideal for our type of team. Our offensive line was horrible. Our wide receivers were subpar, and Bryce Young played absolutely horrible. There were glimpses. There were a few plays that kind of shined through, but for an overall totality of the season last year, it was pretty bad. Now, at Dave Canellis' combine presser, he alluded to this one thing. He said that because Evero is here, he doesn't have to put that much thought, if any, into the defensive scheme.
It was huge. I mean, that was the whole part of my master plan. I'm like, hey, Mr. Tepper and Mrs. Tepper, I'll fix the offense. You kind of have what's in place here in Ajero. I really have high respect for him.
So when you sit back and you look at it, Dave Canellis has the easiest job to do. And some people may say, man, what do you mean he has the easiest job to do? All he has to worry about is the offense, the offensive play, offensive scheme. You were the offensive coordinator while you was at Tampa Bay. You brought over another guy from Tampa Bay to run your offense, and you know offense. That's your thing. So there shouldn't be no issues. Why? Because you said it out your own mouth that all you have to worry about is just the offensive play. Now, if you guys remember, this was maybe a video after my Surviving Bryce video where I made that statement even before Dave Canellis said it at his press conference at the Combine. I said that all Dave Canellis has to worry about is the offense. Why? Because Evero has the defense locked down. And that goes into the point of this live here. Dave Canellis has no excuses. I'm going to tell you why. He has no excuses because he only has to worry about one facet of the game. That's the offense. With the retaining of Evero, he doesn't have to worry about the defensive install. That's already done. So your bread and butter is exactly what you said. Helping Bryce out, getting Bryce Young ready for 2024 football, getting this offensive scheme together. So there should be no excuses at all for why we aren't seeing production from the offense this season. The Carolina Panthers also doubled down on all of the screams and yells that the fans and the content creators were saying. We spent over $150 million in beefing up this offensive line. Why? Because the offensive line was atrocious. And this is what I would always say this. There may not be a stat, there may not be a PFF, there may not be anything on ESPN that correlates to this, but I believe wholeheartedly that offensive line play dictates how well your quarterback plays on the field. If you got pressure in your face, the balls are not going to be completed as good, as on point as if you have a clean pocket. Now, Bryce Young has had plenty of clean pockets, and we see that, and he's made bad decisions. Bryce Young has had good pockets, and he's made great decisions down the field. So hopefully with this spending money, $150 million plus on the offensive line, getting Robert Hunt, getting Damian Lewis, getting Yost from Green Bay that can play right and left tackle. I mean, there should be no excuse why Bryce Young is still continuing to have pressure in his face. So if we see that this year coming up, oh, man, that's going to be aggravating. I'm not going to lie. Bryce Young also has to make sure that he doesn't create his own pressures like he did in multiple games last year. He has to get his footwork together. Bryce Young, to me, was extremely happy foot last year, and we can't have that going into the 2024 season. He has a year up on his belt now. He has to make sure that he is on point with his dropbacks when he hikes the ball. Get into your throwing stance. Bryce Young looked horrible with that. And many people said, you know what, hey, it's his style. He's a cool, calm, collected type of dude. But when we watch CJ Stroud always was ready. When the ball was hiked, automatically ready and in the throwing position, ready to throw the ball 30, 40, 50, yards down the field. I want that for Bryce Young. I want Bryce Young to do good this year. I don't want the Carolina Panthers to be the butt of the NFL like we was the past 7 years. So many people have asked me, PPP, like what would you consider, improvement? And I'm gonna be honest with you. If we could see Bryce Young be competitive in games, if we could see these wide receivers run the route trees the right way, don't give up on plays, if we could see the offensive line holding for Bryce as they should, that's improvement. Also, if we see ourselves in games this season competitively, even if they're losses, even if we lose the game, as long as we're competitive this year, that's improvement from last year. We only saw that in maybe 1 or 2 games, Green Bay and Atlanta, and we didn't even win the Green Bay game. So it only was shown in 2 games, in my opinion, man. So if we can show that type of growth, Bryce Young looks good in the pocket, makes passes down the field, flips the field, because that was an issue last year for us as well. If we ever did get the ball on the 40, we only made it to the 40 on the opposite side of the field, and that was it. That was it. So I want to see us improve in those areas. Create a wall for Bryce. Bryce Young, make the right reads. Offensive line, do what you got to do. Don't miss blocks. Don't miss assignments. And listen, it's not going to be perfect, right? But at least if we start to see those things happen, I think that the Panthers are trending in the right direction. Now, if the Carolina Panthers do none of those things, if we actually see Bryce Young look worse than last year, then we have to attribute it to 2 things. 1, Bryce Young just isn't him. And 2, Dave Canellis did not bring what he said he was going to bring. He didn't put together the type of scheme that he said he was going to bring. So Bryce Young and Dave Canellis, in my opinion, year 1, you guys are both up under the microscope, man, because this is going to tell us everything. So all eyes on Canellis, all eyes on Bryce this season, man. I have my thoughts on who I think the Panthers should draft, which direction we should go in, and I'll throw that in a later video. But I want to see these things happen, man, because I'm a Panther fan, and I know you guys as Panther fans deserve this, all right? So, hey, throw in the comment section. What's some improvements you want to see year 2 of Bryce, year one of Canellis? This season with the Carolina Panthers, what are some things you want to see? Drop it in the comment section. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Hey, also, become a member of Panthers Prime Podcast. It's only $3.99 a month for the basic package, all right? Members-only videos. Come holler at your boy, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, it's year 2 of Bryce, man. It ain't nothing but up, hopefully. But, yo, this is your boy Demetrius with the PPP, Panthers Prime Podcast. You know what time it is. Let's go.